right, welcome back to another episode of the Kitchen Table Podcast where business gets done. I'm your host, Ken Baden, and we have our very first live, not really live, kind of live, but by the time you guys get this, it won't be live. But it's live for us. Our very first hot tub guy, as he would say, so eloquently put it. But we do have Cody Hendrickson from Innovo, as a Innovo Spa, right? Because I want to put an A on that so bad.
Innovo Spa.
Innovo Spa. Cody Hendrickson from Innovo Spa in the house tonight to talk hot tubs and all the entrepreneurship pieces that come with it. But we say that in jest, but truthfully, we have not had anybody on that has been an entrepreneur or even sold in the hot tub market. So first of all, Cody, how are you doing this evening?
Good, sir. Thanks for having me on your show.
I'm happy to have you on the show. Cody and I were catching up on we get all kinds of guests. All of them are business owners, not all of them, actually. Some of them are experts in, for instance, the roof strategist. He was the CEO for a business, and now he spends his time on stages and teaching his sales strategies. But most are going to be CEOs, business owners, entrepreneurs. And so he and I were talking, and we were just like making sure like we didn't get any wires crossed and accidentally like wind up on the wrong. At least that's what it felt like for me. Like, we make sure we're on the right podcast here. But all things considered, the fact that we've got our very first, I don't want to call you hot tub guy. What else do you guys do? Is it just you sell? Tell us a little bit about, first of all, what you do so we can be more educated in the market. We stop calling you hot tub guy.
No, that's all right. Everybody calls me Hot Tub Cody. I am their
Hot tub Cody. Hell yeah, man. I like that. Hot tub Cody.
I am Hot Tub Cody. It's not going to be long before everyone in the world just calls me Hot Tub Cody.
That's what I'm talking about. I like that. Hell yeah. Hot tub Cody's got a good ring with that. That's actually done. And Hot tub Cody. Okay.
Some people that don't even know my last name.
Cody, first of all. Yeah. How'd you get to be, how did that happen?
Yeah, so I'll give you my story. I used to be the service manager for a hot tub dealership, and as a service manager, we were doing all of the warranty calls. I was going out on deliveries, doing repairs, and cleaning hot tubs. And during that time, people kept calling up. We had customers that would call into the dealership and say, "Hey, I need somebody to clean my hot tub. I need somebody to check the chemicals, clean the filters. There's nothing wrong with the hot tub. We just need, somebody to check on things." So we didn't offer any program like that. Nobody in town offered anything that we knew of. And so I went to the owners and I said, what if we offer some kind of program where we sell this to new first-time customers that are looking to buy their tub, and they'll buy with us and they get their first year of service for free. And so they liked that idea. We came up with a program. We got bought out by another dealer a couple months later. Had no idea that the dealership was, under contract. So the competitors, they came in, they had their own crew. So we all kind of just dispersed and got out of the hot tub world for a while. And from there, went and did a couple other different jobs. And COVID happened. Summer of 2020, my wife and I are at home thinking, there's got to be money being spent in the marketplace somewhere. We just have to find it because people are still spending their money. Mm-hmm. And so we saw that high ticket items were being sold like crazy. Boats, motorcycles, all these campers, bunch of different things, and hot tubs made the list. So I went to the dealers and I said, all right, what's going to be the easiest barrier of entry here? I went to the dealers and I said, look, how are your hot tub sales doing? And everybody had the same thing to say. We're selling more hot tubs than we can handle. And I said, great. Who's cleaning your hot tubs? And they said, nobody. We're in a gold rush right now, selling tubs hand over fist. And so I said, great, I want to be your cleaning guy. So if anybody calls in with a request to get a hot tub cleaned, I'm going to be your guy. If anything looks funky, you need a drain and fill done, need the filters cleaned, I'm your guy. And they said, great, that's awesome. But we also need help with deliveries. So I told them, all right, I've got no money to go into this thing. So here's what I want to do. I want to use your truck, your trailer, your equipment, delivering your product to your customers, selling my service. And they all agreed. They said, yes, we'll do that because we need to get these hot tubs out. They were selling more than they could deliver. So we would get paid to deliver the hot tub out to a brand new hot tub customer. And I would pitch them my cleaning service where we would come back once a month, twice a month, once a week, take care of their chemicals, filter cleans, drain and fills, vacuum the tub, clean it out. And I went to 5 other dealerships in the local area and did the same thing. And they all agreed because 2020 was a madhouse.
Right.
And so from there, I became the cleaning guy throughout the area.
That's a badass story, brother. I got to tell you,
Isn't
that
that awesome?
it gives me because look, man, my background is in sales, and I love the hustle. I do, I really do. I love the hustle, man. I
Yeah.
was thinking, I'm like this dude went out there and pitched them, and look, I'm gonna use your trucks, your stuff, all your stuff, and I'll help you get the you can't maintain the demand. I'll help you get it out, but I'm gonna use all your stuff, and then I'm gonna pitch my stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
about as gangster
Well,
as it gets, man. I love it.
well, then what happened is I had two problems at that point. First of all, without knowing, I created the moving hot tub side of the business, and then I had the cleaning side of the business. So I was delivering these tubs for all these dealerships, and I couldn't keep up with the deliveries. I had to put together a moving crew so that they could show up at the dealerships every morning and deliver the tubs that were sold the day before. So they'd show up with a truck and trailer. Got to the point where we would do that, but starting out, I would go out in the morning, deliver 2 or 3 hot tubs in the morning, hop in my wife's car, load it up with hoses and vacuums and brushes and everything, and go clean the hot tubs of the contracts that I just sold that week. So
Wow.
there was a month or two where I was doing both jobs just to keep things going until I could hire guys to go out and get that done. And then that split into the cleaning side of the business and the moving side of the business.
Are those still both sides of the business today?
We are the largest hot tub management group in the Midwest. No one cleans more hot tubs than we do. No one moves more hot tubs than we do. Just to give you an idea of our scale, we have 2 locations up and running. Our third and fourth are going to be launched before the summer season hits. We touch over 250 hot tubs every 2 weeks right now during the slow season, and that's just the cleaning side. We generally through the summer, our busiest season, we could deliver 40 to 50 hot tubs a week, and that's for multiple dealers, and that's moving as well. So if somebody buys a hot tub on Facebook Marketplace, or a realtor sells a house and they want to take the hot tub with them, we're the guys that they call to move them. So we have the whole moving side that's thriving, and we have the cleaning side that's thriving as well.
So you don't directly you work with all these different dealers, and you just the ones that like actually move it, but you're not, have you gotten into like the wholesale of them, or just the money's in the moving them, or what?
We have options for wholesale. We've talked to a couple different wholesalers, so that's definitely something that we do. We also we manage over 900 short-term rentals as well. We're the go-to people for the short-term rental hot tub market. So that was something that I hadn't even considered
Right.
looking into when I started. I just wanted to clean the lake homes, the second homes. Somebody that had a hot tub, they needed help with the chemicals. That's what I wanted to do. Well, there was one company in Traverse City that found me, and he said, "Hey, I got 8 hot tubs. Can you help me out?" And I was just thinking, "Great, 8 hot tubs. That's
Sure.
exciting. 8 new clients for one guy." And so word got around town that I was the guy that could handle these short-term rentals, because they need us to come out. They needed me to come out after every single checkout. So every time a guest checked out, I had to check that hot tub. I had to clean it if needed, do a drain and fill if needed. And word got around that I was the guy. And so the house cleaners didn't have to do it anymore. The property managers didn't have to run out on a Saturday or a Sunday to get that house flipped over and mess with the hot tub. They could call me. So now I would say about 70% of our business is short-term rental management. And we
Man,
go out after every single checkout too.
I was
So
gonna
we could have,
go
what's
ahead.
that?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I can hold off my question. Go ahead.
We have some properties that have 2 to 3 night minimums. So we're servicing one property up to 6 to 8 times in a month, one property. We've got some larger properties that are week-long minimums. So those are 4 times a month, just for one property. So we're seeing a lot of these properties multiple times throughout the month, throughout the year.
You're in the Midwest. What specific areas do you service in the Midwest?
We're only in Michigan right now.
Okay.
We're only in Michigan. We just have the 2 locations up and running, and 2 more satellites to launch before June.
Yeah.
So, but you check with any other dealer in the area, they're not doing more than we are. We're
Oh no,
we're,
I
we're
believe. I
dominating.
believe.
We're dominating the market.
You have any plans to expand? I just have a bunch of peers and say like, Missouri, Minnesota, heck, where else? I think also Michigan, but you're
Yeah,
in a great that's weird, by the way, not to get off topic, but you'd think, especially in your territory, like I get for most things outside of like snow removal or anything snow related, like it's the slow season, but you'd think, especially like up there, like the winter would be like hot tub busy season, you know what I mean? But it's just
right.
summer.
Well, we have a large group of clients that close down their whole house for the winter. We have a lot of affluent clients up north that they have their summer home, but they pull in the docks. They close down the summer home, so they're closing down the hot tub too. They're not coming back until May.
Wow.
Um, so we have a large number of those, and then they call us in May and say, "Hey, we're getting everything opened up again. We want you to come out and take care of the tub." So we'll do that.
Nice.
But yeah,
Nice.
to answer your question though, Ken, for the future plans, we are franchising. Where I just talked to my franchising group today, and we just have a couple weeks left, and then we'll be able to start offering franchises. But I've already got interest all over the nation right now: Colorado, Texas, Florida, Chicago area, Indiana. I've got interest all over for people who have are similar. They are property managers or they have hot tub experience and they're seeing what I'm doing on social media and they're like, hey, we need that in our area because nobody's doing that.
Talk about that if you would, please, your social media presence and your branding. And that's a big thing for me, by the way, is just I think I mentioned we were talking about, Andy Elliott, Ryan Stewman, and just some of these other, there's a lot of them. They definitely teeter into influencer territory, but even
Yeah.
still, it's just like for myself, I try to bring it back to because I have two other businesses, but definitely the main thing is hey, I want to be the roofing guy, right? At least for the
Right.
time being. Then we'll, because I have a consulting company that specializes in Baden Consulting, which would train your sales team or train you how to do roofing for goodness sake if you need to,
Sure.
and you're a solar guy, but uh, that's just a niche we just linked on to. But
Hmm.
for all intents and purposes, the main focus currently is the roof. We're scaling and the roofing
Sure.
side. Just man, there's just too much. It's like okay, this other stuff we just kind of slow down. But I can't say enough about, and I've talked about it on my show so many times. I've had specific guests that just specialize in social media and building a personal brand and how that relates to impacting your business brand. Talk a little
Yeah.
bit about sort of how you've had the success with social media and what that's done for you, if you would, please.
Yeah. So social media is huge. You got to think of the consumer that's trying to find our services. They're used to a subscription service. They're used to seeing videos and photos of everything else. That's what's going to be easiest for them to connect with. And so I put my content on social media. A couple things happen. People say that they love to see the transformations of the hot tub, right? They like seeing the nasty, gross hot tubs that we have to deal with. That they can see the transformation happen, and also on the deliveries, they like to see the whole process, and they also like to learn because something that we're doing, they don't see anywhere else. So people like to see that when they hear about what we're doing, they're like, wow, I haven't heard of anybody else that does that. And so it kind of piques their interest. They follow along. I'll have people at the coffee shop or at church that stop by and say, "Hey, I saw your delivery the other day," or "Man, that hot tub looked nasty," and they're following along. And something that I didn't realize, Ken, is that um, social media has the power to expand your branding outside of just your local market. That's
Yeah.
why I've had people on TikTok reach out and said, "Hey, I'm in Georgia and I manage, 600 properties. How do I clean all these hot tubs myself?" And just one video on TikTok, one video on Instagram is all it takes. I did a podcast with a guy last year who found me on Facebook. Never met the guy before, saw it on Facebook. We started chatting, had me on the podcast. And from that, I've signed up numerous clients that have just also gone to Facebook and seen that. And not just clients, but it's important as an employer as well, because I've had employees, I'll ask them, why did you decide to work with us? And they said, well, I actually went on Facebook. I saw what you do. They're not going to my website, right? I'll ask them all the time, "Hey, did you go on our website and see? No, but I went on Facebook, or I went on Instagram and I saw your photos, I saw your videos, and I read your reviews, and it looks like something that I would want to do." So social media is so much more than just glitz and glam and paid advertising and whatnot. Like it's social proof.
You think it's important, and you've already said some of like I really like the ideas of like what he said is like he shows the nasty, hot tubs and clean, the before, the afters. I love that, and what you hit on, by the way, with employees, that was the whole thing for myself. Like, okay, I want to start getting a podcast going and start personal branding. For me, originally, it was nothing else but to try to play what I call the attractive character, and not in any like illusionary or false way, but a very real, like, hey, here's what we do, how we do it, what I'm doing, and what I'm all about. But like, if you think that this is a good fit or that this is something that's appealing to you, come work with us. And I was just looking for
Absolutely.
to attract some high caliber talent, and I was thinking like, man, who would listen to a podcast called The Kitchen Table about business, about sales, about personal professional development? Probably someone like myself. And I mean, if I'm looking for guys or younger versions of me, these are the guys that are going to be listening to these things. So I couldn't agree more, man. I mean, I've gone on podcasts, brother, just like, you and I, like, oh man, which one am I going on today? And it doesn't matter, right? Like, as long as it has anything to do with business, personal, professional development, like, all right,
Yeah.
bro, fantastic, right? Like, wonderful, right? And hey, their reach is obviously more than or different than my own, right? And so that's just, I've been featured in the Source magazine. Like, I had a couple people like, Source, you know what I mean? Like, because that's like rap, Eminem, and all that other, or I
Or
pick him. I got this young guy in here working with me. He's like Eminem, but Source, Yahoo Finance, Yahoo News, a bunch of different articles and stuff. And that's once you it just all starts to build, and then you kind of find this like media one sheet of like, man, I've been featured on a couple things. It's pretty cool. Andy Elliott's podcast, Ryan Stewman's podcast, Sebastian's, a couple other people's, but point
mhm.
is, man, is like that reach. Even just if you get like good people, it's not all about just customers, but employees, uh,
Yeah,
referrals, references, but building a brand around you then attracts people to your business. And man, I just can't stress enough about the power of social media. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, really, too. Like, I don't show
100%.
enough roofing before and afters, and I don't show enough of because for a while there, man, I was like coaching, consulting, and I do roofing and coaching and kind of motivate coaching because you know what I mean, and just uh I think it's a great thing for you to point out the importance of like consistently hitting the mark on like, hey, I'm the freaking hot tub guy, right? Like, obviously you have two ends of that same spectrum, but still at the end of the day, like, I'm the hot tub guy. Like,
I've
if
had a lot of customers that have been upset that I'm not in the pool business. I'm not the pool and hot tub guy. I'm one thing, and that's what's made us the biggest in the Midwest right now. And it's gonna help propel us across the nation. When we start franchising, we already have interest across the nation. We're gonna do hot tubs, and we're gonna do hot tubs well. And a lot of people accuse me of leaving money on the table. That's all right. I want to make sure that we can be the absolute best at cleaning and managing hot tubs. We'll get that part down. Once that part's down, there will be no shortage of opportunity.
couldn't agree more, man. And honestly, I'm probably guilty of what's the serial entrepreneur syndrome, right? Or falling victim to like shiny objects. And I mean, you heard me, I got
Yeah.
a couple other, but it's a
Well,
danger.
entrepreneurs can't help but see opportunity everywhere, and they know that they got what it takes to fix it. But I had to ask my question to myself early on, Kenneth, is that listen, you can fix those problems, but are you the one to do it? Should you fix those problems? Because maybe that problem needs to be fixed by somebody else, and it'll actually bless their lives more than you, because it could distract what you're doing, it take away from what you're doing.
Yeah, and you said it best, man. I want to get really good at this one thing. I want to be the best at this one thing, and then I'll move
Right.
on, and it's just not compromising on your standards or your values and saying, no, we could go do this and this, but if I can't do this one thing to the standard that I've set, then I'm not going to move past it. And that was what kind of pulled me back, was like, last year for me was, oh man, I'm going to do all these things and social media. And look, I want to be on stages and do all of that. But the real reason behind the why there is not like I want to be famous or whatever. It was, well, I want to help people, and I like to focus on the training of the sales and train sales teams and stuff. But, and I certainly have a message that's a little unique because of my past, and you don't know a ton of it, but, hell, I was homeless several years ago, and, addiction and all these things. And that's something that I'm very open about and talk about a whole lot. My, opportunities and all of the things that God's given me. And, I heard you mention church and stuff, brother. That's something that I'm very out there about, and I've had
Yeah.
people on there, and everybody who follows me knows the deal, right? That's kind of the catch, right? And that's not a catch, but it's part of the gig, right? I feel that it would
Sure.
be a disservice to only show like, oh, look at what I've done over here, if I'm not willing to say, well, hey, man, but guess what? Here's where I came from, and it wasn't that long ago. And oh, by the way, you can do it too, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's important. I think more people need to see that. It's so I have a local community where I started a Novo Spa up in Traverse City, our first location. And my real close friends, they've seen my other entrepreneurial pursuits. Like I was about to launch an ice cream product on the market in 2020. We had everything lined up and set, ready to go in 2019 at the end of the last quarter, and we were waiting until the first quarter to put our order in for milk. And then first quarter of 2020, guess what happened? The world fell apart. Everything just flew off the handle. So you pivot, you change.
You hear that? He was saying, I mean, that I love that, by the way, because I know exactly what happened. And it was like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? And of course, in our industry and probably yours, it was like, oh, we're gonna make a whole lot of money. You know what I mean? Like it was just
Uh,
everything everyone thought was going to happen ended up kind of happening, at least for most industries that I'm aware of, last year, which is so ironic. It's like, well, actually, after COVID dissipated, that's when everything kind of came back and started to
right,
crash. And we're kind of
right,
experiencing what everybody thought was going to happen during COVID, like right now. But
sure.
I digress, and have you noticed? I mean, you're still kicking butt. I mean, have you felt any of that? I mean, or is it just,
No, we have grown exponentially year over year. We just keep we just keep moving forward, very specific in what we're doing. Um, we're doing things that nobody else in the hot tub industry or the pool industry, the home service industry are doing. We're connecting with a lot of our clients through technology, through social media, personalized calls. I hired a gal this year that just calls people after we have a problem. That's her only job. She calls people after there's a problem. How did we do? She calls them after their first week of signing up. Hey, how was your first week? How's your 6 months been? How was the first year? And she's personal touch. She calls them on their birthday, on their anniversary. Thank you for being a client. Thank you for being a client. Nobody else is doing that. There's nobody else that I know of that's touching people like that.
no? And have you seen an increase as a result? I mean, have you been able to quantify what that is? I mean, just curious, because that is a heck of a personal touch, brother.
Yep. So I hired her just in January, first couple weeks in January, and we've already gotten 6 referrals from current clients. So they will refer their neighbor or a friend that they know and say, "Hey, these are the people that I know that you have a hot tub. These are the people. Stop messing with your chemicals. Quit messing with it. Call this guy. They'll take care of you." So it's only been just a couple of weeks, but we've already seen the benefit of that, of having her position.
Hmm. Yeah, I tried something like that myself a few, maybe a year ago, and it was we went in it, and maybe it's the intention, and I'm just being candid, man. Maybe it's the
Yeah.
intention, because the intention, while it was like, hey, we're going to do quality assurance calls, the intention was an attempt to hopefully get a second touch with a client. Perhaps we just really just boil it down to, hey, if that happens, wonderful. If they refer someone, wonderful, but we really just want to know how we've done, uh, and get some candid information, because
Hmm.
It also drove up a few like, well, now that you called, we actually have this one thing that's this piece over here is hanging off, and it's like, okay, well, we're happy to fix it, but you could have called us a little while ago. But anyhow,
Sure.
I love
Well, that brings up a good point. The customers that scare me the most are the ones that have a problem for 6 months
don't
and we
call.
don't hear about it because we could have fixed it 6 months ago.
Right.
Why didn't they say anything?
Right. Until we
So
call you and you're like, well, now that you mention it, it's like, oh, well, I mean, we're happy
that's
to fix it, but my goodness.
right. Right. That's what this gal is doing. She's calling up our customers. How are things going? What can we fix? What needs to be changed?
Well, man, brother, that's I would imagine it's stuff like that that have put you in the driver's seat in your market, and I'm really impressed. I mean, so you mentioned the future is uh franchising.
Franchising. Yes, sir.
Where do you see Innovo Spa in the next 3 year? What's the 3 year plan? If you would be so kind to give it, and you don't have to give us all the details, but just a
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah. So we plan to sell between 36 and 52 franchises this year alone. So by year 3, we're going to be across the nation, in every major city for sure. And by that time, we're going to be the preferred vendor for manufacturers. Because what we're seeing right now is that the manufacturers are having a real hard time. COVID shifted up the whole hot tub market, the pool market. It shifted a lot of things. And what I'll say about the hot tub market is that it's an old industry, meaning the people that own these dealerships, they're very old. They're at the end of their career, not at the beginning. A good majority of them are. And so the manufacturers, the customers are buying the product. They're contacting the manufacturer after 5, 6, 7, 8 years with a repair need or a question. Those manufacturers are reaching out to guys like me because the dealership is saying, no, we don't warranty that repair. We don't have guys that can go out and do that repair. We're not interested in servicing. We're not interested in helping. So they're reaching out to other contractors like myself and saying, hey, can you help in this market? Even if it's a customer that's outside of my current market, they're looking for that option. So by the time 3 years from now, when we're already in all the major cities and the surrounding areas, we're going to be the obvious choice.
And you're looking to expand into different horizons. You're just not there yet. Is it like a 3 years from there, 3 years from now, and then maybe I'll consider looking at the obvious, right? Like pools or whatever, right? But I'm not, or
Well,
maybe
like I said, there's never going to be a shortage of opportunities, right? We could look into doing pools. We could look into doing services. We could look into doing repairs. We could look into indoor jetted bathtub cleanings. We could start moving large pools. We could start doing above ground pools. I mean, there's lots of opportunities.
fiberglass pools, all kinds of.
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. But I want to be very clear about what it is that we are doing, what we're very good at. Let's get good at doing this. Let's be the obvious choice when a customer has this thought in mind. Who do I go to clean my hot tub? It's going to be this company right here. That's,
Mm.
this is who you're going to call. That's who you're going to think of. So that's the goal. Between here and in 3 years, world domination, one hot tub at a time.
There you go. World domination, one hot tub at a time. I love it, dude. And you know what? Even though I trying to entice him and like, hey man, there's all kinds of other stuff over here. He was like, no, dude, I'm gonna make sure that I'm focused on one thing. Just because my brain's like, but there's so many things, dude.
Oh,
Listen to me, man.
absolutely.
Trust me. I'll get you in trouble. I've already experienced it. I need to be focused on one thing, and we'd be just fine. But
Yeah,
here I am on my podcast with my 3 businesses and my speaking engagement on the 16th. And oh, by the way, we got, but you know what? I'm very blessed and I'm happy that I have these opportunities, just as I am happy
absolutely.
to have you on the podcast. Honestly, I'm thoroughly impressed. I mean, I haven't
Well,
had
thank
anyone
you, sir.
that does, what you do. I've had everyone from, we were talking about Adam Champagne, and I think, Andy's coming on this month, Andy Elliott screaming at guys to take their shirt off and tell them how lazy he is, to Adam Champagne, CEO of Home Fix, probably listening to this, Pure Finance Group, Install Services. I don't know, 4 other companies. The guy's a machine, to
Mhm.
bunch of up and coming business owners. And Point being,
Mhm.
I have not yet ever had somebody who does, and we've had some. The most other interesting one was more, yes, bats and rats, right?
Yeah.
I just listened to his podcast the other day. That was a good one.
Oh, with
Bats
me?
and rats.
Okay, you listen to this?
Yeah.
Yeah, bats and
Yeah.
rats. Okay,
Yep.
yeah. Okay. So yeah, it wasn't like you were like, okay, I wasn't sure if like when we were connecting in the beginning, I'm like, did he accidentally get popped over and was like, dude, what do you want to have me on for? Okay. I get it. You at least knew that you were supposed to be on the podcast and you knew
Oh, yes.
okay, all right.
For sure.
Wonderful. I
Yeah.
was, yeah, maybe there's a mistake, but no, okay, awesome. But I, I'm literally, because I have so many things going on, man, not doing what you're doing. I'm like walking in between. I'm just getting pointed in directions. Like, here, go sit. Do this. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. But no, I love Dane's episode, Bats and Rats, man. Same thing. I'm like, when are you gonna do this? He's like, first I gotta do this. I'm like, all right, man. You sure you
Yeah.
don't look at doing this? He's like, no. I don't touch that. I don't do chemicals. I don't do. Dane's a machine, man. Dane was 300 plus. Yeah. Have you seen, do you know Dane, or you just listened to his episode?
Just listen to his episode.
Yeah. I was thoroughly impressed. Dane's anyhow, that's probably the most obscure. Yours is a little bit more traditional, but I am very
Mhm.
impressed with the tenacity with which you've hit it and just keep on rocking, man. And honestly, kudos, dude. You took that.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I was thinking, man, 2020, I honestly would have expected you to report like a small loss or something coming off the heels of last year. I mean, I was really scared that I would report the same. I mean, we did end up with a 20% year over year up, right? But like, I
Mhm.
was not, so sure midway through. And even then, that wasn't the goal. But man, that's awesome. I am really honestly excited for you. As you seem like you've got your like laser focus on this is what we're doing. And if you guys are listening, that is just the way to do it. You know what I mean? Frankly, the way to do it is listen to this, gentlemen. Don't get distracted by shiny objects.
Hey man, I don't have it all figured out. I just know that's what works for me. I know that there's a lot of different ways of doing business, but I know what I'm capable of, and I'm betting on myself 5 years from now.
Yeah.
I know I don't want to rush it right now. I want to make sure that I've got a very good, solid foundation, and that could be way too conservative, But I know I'm married. I got a young family. I want to protect that for as long as I can.
Yeah.
And I don't want anything to trample that, but I want to make sure that I'm staying in my lane. And I know that, like I said, this works for me. Somebody else could hop in and just do 5 or 6 different things, but I've seen other guys do that in the hot tub industry, pool industry. They get too far spread out, and then they can't help anybody because they're too far out of their zone. And I want to make sure that we stay dialed in, and it keeps things simple for my team as well. My team knows what to measure. Makes things very easy to measure and very easy to quantify. We can look at what we need to improve on because we only do so many things, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, that is the way to do it. That's the smart approach. That's a smart approach, the smart play. And in fact, I've heard it over and over again from so many mentors and coaches of mine, like, man, look, just get really good at this. And then you can look at this and this. I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
but this complements this. And I could do this at the same time. I'm gonna put again, listen to
Especially the entrepreneur, man. Like I
yeah,
said, you're gonna
I'm
see
selling
opportunity
myself.
everywhere you look.
Yeah, selling myself on how great of an idea it is. Like, well, yeah, but I can make these three complement themselves. And so the reality is, man, I've actually had to dial back like both. Like, well, let's just dial these back and maybe I'll partner
Right.
with this, partner over here. And fortunately, I've been again very blessed to make those moves. But
Sure.
you just kind of have a business by name here, and you take a client when you can take a client and partner here. But all
Right.
that said, man, I am really, this is my favorite part. Like what we do here and doing this whole, and I was talking about this the other day, and we're rounding out the show, but still like the reason why I enjoy doing my podcast now is I get to meet guys like you, and I'm genuinely we're just having conversations about business, and then it just gets
Mhm.
recorded and it provides value, I hope, to the listener, where somebody listening who perhaps just randomly, right? Or even if they're not going in that industry, right? I had a young man that I was helping here locally that was doing fiberglass pools, right?
Hmm.
John Locklear. And I'm just connecting you two because it's the closest thing I can, attribute it to. But
Right.
still,
Yeah.
like, that wasn't anything that I was doing, but he found value in the network and the people that, I'm around and he wanted to be around, and just kind of like being around like-minded folks with like-minded aspirations. And, there's even a connecting factor where, not to get all spiritually or, whatever, but, there's
Sure.
a theme here, man, where it's like, hey, God, family, there's a why behind the pursuit, and then there's that stick-to-itiveness. I think it's a recipe for a win, man. I really do.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
where can people find Innovo Spa or you, and check out more what you got going on, man?
Yeah. So, Hot Tub Cody on Instagram.
Heck
Uh,
yeah, dude. I knew it. Hot Tub Cody. So you got to trademark that, bro. Hot Tub Cody.
Absolutely. Innovo.spa on Facebook. We're on TikTok. I've got a few videos on there. Um, I add to my stories all the time on Instagram, but Instagram, Facebook, we're online at innovospa.com. They can check us out there. So
You see
yeah,
you on TikTok at innovospa.com or Innovo.
that's a good question. Let me look that up real quick. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing.
I see
But
Roger over here messing with his phone, getting ready to send over requests. So I'm like, let me make sure. He already did. Got you.
my
Is that
apologies.
Innovo?
It's innovo.spa.
Innovo.spa on
No,
TikTok.
at innovo.spa. Yep. Yep. I've got only one claim to fame on there. It's got 260,000 views, but it hit a nerve with somebody. We've got lots of comments. We've got 234 people were asking questions. A bunch of people saved it, and it was one of our vacation rentals that we did a turnover on.
Wow.
And yeah, and a lot of people were asking questions about the chemicals, the process, and all of this stuff. And that one video, I got, I think, 3 different clients from that one video.
You hear that? That right there might be some of the most value. I mean, just dude, 200 some odd thousand viewers on TikTok that cost you X amount, probably nothing to make,
It,
right?
it was it was 260 plus thousand viewers, and I almost didn't shoot the video. It was my last job of the day, and I was just walking up to the tub, and I'm like, you know what? Let me back up. I'm gonna start a video, and I'm gonna process, or I'm gonna document the whole process. And I almost didn't shoot that video, and that's the one that ended up, having the most views.
Can't make this stuff up, man. And he got 3
Oh,
clients so far from it, and he's got a brand that he's building as a result. I'm telling you, man, that is so, so important. Brother, thank you so much for coming on, man. I really, honestly, I really
absolutely,
enjoyed it, man. I really did. I'd love to have you back on again sometime, and we'll
absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much.
I had a blast, man. I really did. I can't wait to see what you guys accomplish in the next 3 years, and we'll have to touch base back in and see how this franchise goes. But check him out. Check out the TikTok. Check out Innovo Spa, um, and just show some love, man. Go out and make these guys even more successful than they already are. Even if it's just showing love and watching their videos and replying and showing love and sharing their content. That's how we do. By the way, if you haven't figured this out yet, listeners, friends and fam, like, we got to show each other love, especially the up and comers, man. Like, it's a reciprocal exchange where, hey, we're gonna I'll interact with your stuff, you interact with mine, right? Like, that's the way this works. So let's make sure we show love. And when we come on here and show all this value and give all this value away. I mean, he's not being paid to be on here, right? Like, so let's make sure we show love and we put people up, the right people, because these are the right people. If they're on this show, they darn sure should be. They darn sure should be. See, it's because you're talking about going to church. You got me behaving well. I'm like, well, darn it, golly gee, you better get on here and just freaking push him, give him some love. Why don't you? Look, man, I I had a blast with you, man. Guys, we'll be back next time, and we'll have to check in with. Actually, I want to call him Hot Tub Cody, and I'm going to call him Hot Tub Cody one more time. But I know that actually you don't care. I don't say you
Hot
clearly.
tub,
whole
Hot
deal.
Tub Cody. That's what I'm called in the industry. That's fine.
Hot Tub Cody, baby. And you
Yes,
know
sir.
what? When I first said it, I thought that was like, I'm like, I hope he doesn't take offense to this. Like, dude, that's my name. I am
Yep.
Hot Tub Cody. What are you talking
I
about?
am Hot Tub Cody.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, Hot Tub Cody. Look, we are so glad you came on, brother, and we will see you next time. Guys, we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.